Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Well of Inspiration right here on the Cradle of Life's YouTube channel. If you're new to the platform, welcome. Joining us today, as always, is Wellington. He is the person behind all the motivational content of The Well of Inspiration. He is the founder of The Well of Inspiration, and every week he joins us for a new episode to help you take your life, your business to the next level of success. Wellington, hi.
Hi, Don. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. I am not complaining at all.
You know, I know your life is so hectic. You're always on the go. You're always busy. But you're one of those people who never complains about anything. The whole thing behind positivity. I love it, Wellington.
Look, everything that's supposed to happen is happening the way it's supposed to happen. So I have no complaints whatsoever.
Absolutely. All right, Wellington, let's talk about this week's episode on The Well of Inspiration.
You know what? This week I would like us to consider a subject called bouncing back. Now, if you think about it, misery, distress, pain, and suffering are the things that punctuate our day-to-day lives. And all of this is often coupled with failure, like abject failure at the things we really want to do. Or maybe sometimes we get setbacks from when we think we're on the right track and then something happens that knocks us back. Or maybe a person that we were relying on, depending on, putting our trust in, tends to let us down. That tends to pull us back to a dark place, a place where we can look around us and maybe think that we can never come back from this. We might look to the front and not see the hope or the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. But my friend, I just want to remind you today that when these things happen, when bad things happen to you, only you have got the chance and the opportunity in that moment to transform the situation and set yourself up on a path to rediscover who you are, what you're about, and then bounce back to the journey that you are on with confidence, with conviction, and indeed working towards your goals, your dreams, and the things that really matter to you. It's all about figuring out how to bounce back from troubled situations.
Wellington, I'm loving the sound of this. And I think from what you're saying, it's all about from within. You have that power from within. It comes from within to change your situation, to use it to your advantage, to take yourself to the next level that you need to go to.
Absolutely. And you know, when something bad happens, it knocks you down so bad most of the times that you begin to realize that you really don't have nothing to defend, nothing to protect. You know, you realize that, look, I am who I am. Let me uncover who I am and run with it because, look, I've hit the bottom anyway. So what more do I have to lose? And then you can power through and get back on the saddle and do what you really have to do. This is the power of building your bounce back muscle. And there's a way of doing this. And that's what I would like us to discover today, to discover how we can go about bouncing back from our situations and the challenges and circumstances we find ourselves in to enable us to rewire our mindset, reconfigure our lives, and rededicate ourselves to that which really matters to us.
Wellington, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching today who needed this message, who need to know, what should I do to bounce back? How can I bounce back? And I know you're going to, within this content, within this episode, you're going to be able to give them some facts and different things that they can actually put into place to allow them that opportunity to bounce back. So I'll hand it over back to you.
You know what? Sometimes what it takes is to just go back and maybe kind of press the reset button, roll back a little bit, and power towards your goal. Now, what this takes is it takes for you to uncover what I call your personal declaration as an individual. This is when the rubber meets the road when it comes to turning back and bouncing back from any situation. You've got to rediscover who you really are. And the model that allows you to do this is a model that teaches you to go back and stop, just stop for a minute, reflect, and then consider where you are, who you are, where you're coming from, and where it is you want to go. In that moment of reflection, in that moment of deep thinking, it is where you will discover that it is within you that you hold the resources that can help you to move out of the bad situation you may be in. I know, my friends, you may have gone through the bad times. You may have been let down by people that you trusted or someone that you really trusted. You may have lost money in a business deal. You may have gone into other situations that you cannot speak about. But you, my friend, I want to remind you today that the power to turn that situation around does not lie within your circumstances. The power lies inside of you. Remember, who you are does not change because you are in a bad situation. If you've got a vision, if you've got a dream, if you want to commit to doing something that you really want to do, this moment, this bad moment, is the time for you to go back and really realize what is really important in your life. You know what it takes? Is you making the decision, committing to the decision, but you also want to interact with the decision at an emotional level. Every decision you make, my friend, that you do not choose to interact at a deep emotional level is something that is easy for you to let go. It is something that you may commit to do, but never really see to fruition because you are not convicted to doing it. If you don't do something, you don't feel bad about it. But if you really want to do something and your mind and your heart and your emotional power is committed to it, when you miss a day of taking the right action in the right direction, it hurts you. It makes you think. It makes you feel really bad about yourself. And that is when you know you are on the right track and your heart, your spirit, everything about you tells you to do what is necessary to be done. But it comes from you recognizing that you need to do this and you understanding that you can make the conviction and build within you that personal power that can help you to move out of whatever situation you may be dealing with.
Wellington, I love the way you say, press that reset button. Sometimes we do need to press that reset button. And I think sometimes when we're down in the dumps, when things have become so difficult for us, it's when we can actually see our best side in terms of bouncing back. It can be a point in your life where you actually decide, from what I've gone through, the situation I find myself in, this is my time to actually prove that I can do all the things that I need to do. And sometimes it's the best time in your life for you to actually bounce back.
100%. I totally agree with you on that.
All right, Wellington, we'll be back. For our viewers, do not go anywhere. This episode today of The Well of Inspiration is all about a bouncing back. And we'll be back just now after the break. Welcome back to this episode on The Well of Inspiration. This week, it's all about bouncing back. Now, Wellington has spoken about different things that we may go through. Sometimes we have people in our lives who let us down. Sometimes situations come into play and life becomes difficult. We go through pain, we go through misery, we go through so many different things. But sometimes within all those different elements and all those tough times that we're going through, it can be a great opportunity for you to actually bounce back. And Wellington has gone in depth to talk about bouncing back, What more might you have to lose? If you find yourself in a situation where you're really down and out, this could be your opportunity to say, I have nothing more to lose. I have more to gain than to lose. So you pick yourself up, you dust yourself up, and you keep going forward. Now, he spoke about one of the things was your own personal declaration. He says, press that reset button, roll back a little, rediscover, reflect, and allow yourself to go through that motion, but allow yourself to actually push yourself and propel yourself further. Now, he's talked about how the power lies within us. The power is from within. So whatever you might be going through, find it in yourself. Find that strength within you to propel yourself and allow yourself to bounce back and to move forward. Wellington.
Okay, so we spoke about this, but you know, when we set an intention, right, when we commit by setting an intention, you know, from my experience, that is the most critical part, because when you set the intention, somehow things begin to happen around you. You know, life begins to move, like what they say, to conspire. The universe conspires for your benefit in all instances. You begin to meet people that make a difference in your life. You begin to come across opportunities for you to move closer to your goal and your dream. It all happens when you set that intention and you begin to act like someone who is committed to a particular goal. This is very, very critical. But on top of that, I want us to recognize that when we talk about the inner power, when you fall down in the dumps because of particular situations that happen in your life, at that moment, your mind shifts into a particular place, the dark place. Before you can transform, before you can change, before you can bounce back, you've got to go through a shift in your mindset. You've got to go through that shift from where you are to the mindset of possibility, a mindset that sees possibility in your future, a hopeful mindset, and a mindset that then helps you to do whatever it is that you need to do. Now, what that takes is you harnessing the power of your mind. Because you know, when you commit to doing something, your mind has got to believe in what you're about to do. So your belief system comes into play, your value system comes into play, and then your day-to-day mindset will then influence your behaviors, it will influence your actions, it will influence your decision-making. And with that, you are now on your path. You are now setting up on your path to regaining the ground you may have lost through the bad situation. You will now be setting yourself up for the comeback that you need to do in order for your life to get back on track, or in order for you to reignite that energy, that desire, that motivation, that drive, that inspiration to work towards your goals and your dreams. It comes down to harnessing that inner power. Recognizing you've got inner power is one thing, but harnessing it is another thing.
That's so interesting, Wellington. I like the way you say shift in your mindset. There has to be that shift in your mindset that allows you to now actually change the way you did things, do things in a different way, propel yourself, grow, and allow your mind to actually change from what it is to something different, because without that change, nothing is possible.
Absolutely. And you know, whenever I say this, I always put a caveat. Because when I say think positive, harness, make the positive intentions, work on your mindset, when I say this, I am not saying ignore the reality that you are facing in the moment. Life happens. Positivity is necessary, but life throws around situations that sometimes challenge even the most positive people. I'm not saying ignore that situation. Feel the pain. Experience the moment that you have been given by life. But as you experience that moment, allow that moment to spur you forward. If you go broke, maybe you've gone into a bad business deal and the money runs out, or the money dissipates, or someone runs away with your money, you come down to a place where you begin to experience what it means to not have money, to not have money in your life, or maybe to struggle to pay for the basics that you need, to struggle to provide for those that you love that are in your life. When you experience that moment, as painful as it is, as tough as it will be, this is a moment that will give you the power to recognize that down there is not a place you want to be. You want to do your best to get out of that situation, do what is necessary, and then transcend the bad circumstances and move towards the goals that you want for yourself. That power comes from you understanding where you are, recognizing the possibilities, and harnessing whatever you have around you to move towards what it is you want, what it is you dream, what it is you hope for.
Wellington, I'm loving this, and I love the way you're breaking it down. I think for me personally, when I was in such situations, the best thing I could possibly do is write down my situation, where I'm at, how I got here. I think that allows you to reflect on it and be able to say, okay, so this is what got me here. This is what I need to change. This is, a person who let me down. Maybe I need to back off from that person. Different things that you put in writing. It's a place where you can reflect. You can look back on it and say, okay, in the coming months, look back and see what have I achieved from where I was by ticking off certain things that you were in such a situation and you were able to pull yourself out by doing the necessary, by reflecting on those things that were there on paper and being able to change it.
100%. You know what that does is it allows you to move forward with power. It allows you to move forward with so much power that you do not dwell on the things that have happened in the past. This is the critical part. Many of us struggle to move forward in life because the past continues to pull us back. We try to move forward while we are carrying the baggage from the past. That is such a difficult thing to achieve. This is what I'm saying. Try to learn from what has happened, feel it in the moment, but then work towards getting out of that space because you don't need to dwell there, okay? The other thing to understand, my good friend Dawn, is we've got to learn to be happy in the moment. Life will happen, but the responsibility to be happy lies on us no matter what is going on in our lives. You might be in a bad situation, but what I do is I take the time to be grateful for everything that I can be grateful for. If my family is around me, I am grateful for my family, even if we're struggling to make ends meet, but my family is right there with me. That gives me gratitude and allows me to be happy despite the circumstances. When you go through difficulties, my friend, the last thing you want to do is to then wallow. If you begin to wallow in the moment you're experiencing, that then pulls you down and you don't even recognize that you've got the power to turn the situation around. But if you choose to be happy, if you choose to be grateful, no matter what is going on around you, choose happiness, choose to be grateful. You see, we all do the things that we do because we want to be happy. But let us not get lost in the thinking that our happiness is dependent on our achievements. Because from my experience, achievements are a never-ending circle. It's a wild goose chase because once I achieve one thing, I'm on to the next one. And then I'm on to the next one, and on to another one, and on to another one. It never stops. If I am waiting and making my happiness depend on these things, what will happen the day that one of my achievements does not work the way that I want it to work? Or when I realize that, oh, this achievement, after all, was just vanity, then what? We've got to find happiness in our circumstances no matter what's going on. And let us not make our happiness dependent on how things are going in our lives. Our circumstances should not dictate how we respond. The power, remember I said, lies within you. It is not the circumstances that shape you. It is you who responds to the circumstances. That's why they say there's a difference between reacting and responding. If you react, you are reacting influenced by the circumstances. But if you take your time and think about the situation and plan for the situation, you can respond with strategic action, with deliberate action, with a positive intention that is geared towards making you move out of the situation into an even better place. That's what I'm talking about. Be happy no matter what the circumstances are.
Wellington, I love this because there's so many things we can do, and there's so many things around us that can breed or bring out the happiness. Little small things that, like you say, the family is the biggest thing that is important to us. You know, like you say, achievements, they come, you know, and you're off to the next one, and you're off to the next one after that. But the little things in life, the small little details that we miss out, we need to focus on that. Be happy. Things are not always going to go your way. Things can always change. But within those changes, within whatever's going on, that happiness, find a way to get rid of whatever negativity may be going on in your life or within you in that moment. Switch it and look for the different things around you that do make you happy.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about, look at life as this big game that we are playing. Our happiness should come from the fact that we have the opportunity to play the game again and again and again, as long as we are alive. It does not come from whether we won yesterday's battle or we won today's battle or we lost today's battle. Think about football players. They win and lose games every now and again. But if you watch them carefully when they go through their interviews, they always feel the moment, be unhappy in the moment, but quickly recognize that they have a role to play in how tomorrow will turn out. So they go back to the training field and they work hard so that the next game will be a success. But they understand that they love playing football and the game of football is still there for them to play. Such is the same thing for us, my friends. We are in this game called life. This life is here for us to play. If we win today, we should not sit and think that we've arrived. If we lose today, it is not the end. There's always another game to be played tomorrow, another opportunity to do even better. If we fail today, we can rise up tomorrow, but we've got to be able to harness this power to be able to bounce back and do the things that we really, really need to do.
Wellington, fantastic stuff coming from you. And for those who are watching today, don't forget, the Well of Inspiration is a place where we motivate you, just as we've done in this episode. Don't forget to follow Wellington. He has a Facebook page for the Well of Inspiration. He also has an Instagram page and a website, www.wellofinspiration.com. We also have our YouTube channel right here that you're watching on. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share and like this video. If you have any comments, any questions, don't forget to put them down below and we will get back to you. Wellington, before we wrap it up on this episode, any final words for our viewers who are watching this episode about them bouncing back?
You know what? I just want to say to you guys, just recognize, trust that whatever needs to happen in your life is happening the way it is designed to happen. Our journey through life is sometimes not really a result of what we do. Sometimes things happen because they are supposed to happen. And when they do happen, our responsibility is to respond accordingly and take the actions that are necessary. Let's not be distracted by these little situations that pull us back from time to time, and we continue focused on our vision, our goals, our dreams, the things that we have been gifted with to achieve in this world. Let's go for it and do whatever we have to do, no matter what's going on around us.
Fantastic, Wellington. And for those who are watching, if you are trying to figure out how to bounce back, I do hope that this episode by Wellington is actually allowing you to see things different. And you've actually picked on a few things that you personally can implement to allow you to bounce back. Wellington, it's been great. Until next week, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for being a big part of the Cradle of Life.
It is my pleasure always, Dawn, and I wish you a pleasant week ahead.
And the same for you too. Till next time, ciao.
Bye-bye.